Light tore through the black, not gently, but with violence, as though his truth had burned the darkness like fire through rotted cloth. The smoke recoiled, screaming beyond sound, and Chekim saw. His lips moved before thought could restrain them.
No.
Not shouted, not pleaded, declared. He stepped forward. The air before him bowed and split, not as a door, but as something yielding to command. A black womb unfolded, membrane peeling back beneath the pressure of his will. Reality did not resist. It thinned, and he passed through it as if the moment had always belonged to him. He had not come for conquest. He had come because the sanctity of the pattern had been violated. There are crossers who mistake the open gate for the throne. They behold suffering and name it error. They thrust their hands into the great loom with the arrogance of gods, pressing their own desire into the weave until both strand and soul warp beneath their touch. Chekim was not of this kind. His power did not reside in what he could impose, but in what he would not. Not the hammer's fury, but the mountain's refusal. Above the fallen queen, the elder's talons hovered, a blasphemy of flesh seeking not merely to kill, but to excise. It would grind her bloodline to dust and cast it beyond remembrance, into a gulf where no chronicle could follow. A few paces distant, the Cimmerian, held down by the pale, jointed filth. His muscles, knotted like ship's cables, strained in violent leverage, but the suffocating mass of the dead held him fast. They did not slay him. The elder demanded witness. His head was forced upward, so that his winter blue gaze might behold the annihilation of his defiance. And there, apart, circled in instinctive dread, lay the Unmaker. The obsidian blade rested upon the blood-dark stone, humming with a silent hunger even these abominations sensed. The crawlers kept their distance, skirting it like jackals about a sleeping lion, fearful that a stray limb might rouse the judgment coiled within its steel. The elder's grin was a rictus of rot. It sought not merely death, but despair. This was no struggle for dominion. It was a ceremony of erasure. And erasure Chekim would not permit. The word left him then, low, measured, final. Not a cry, not incantation, a boundary. It did not thunder. It entered the marrow of the moment like iron driven into soft wood, and the moment yielded. He stepped. He did not strike. He passed into the horde, through the shadow of the elder, through corruption and ancient malice alike. Where he moved, cohesion forgot itself. The laws that bound rot to form failed before the superior clarity of his will. Pale sinew thinned, vast cunning unraveled. Shapes guttered like lamps starved of oil. They were undone not by fury, but by refusal. He did not touch them. He had no need. His will moved first. His body followed in the wake of the silence it carved. Behind him, the black womb narrowed and sealed, its labor complete. Before him, Yasmela of Khauran lay upon the stone, breath fluttering at the threshold, poised near the cradle of the reaper. Life had not yet relinquished her. Fate had not yet closed its hand. And Chekim, will made restraint, stood between. He crossed the remaining distance without haste. The ash parted beneath his boots as though unwilling to cling. He knelt. One arm slid behind her shoulders, lifting her from the blood-dark stone. The other came to rest over her heart, steady, deliberate, claiming no dominion, only position. He drew her close, not as conqueror, not as savior, but as boundary set against the dark. Her breath shuddered once. His lips moved.
Stay.
It was not command as men speak it. It was decree aligned with what had not yet been revoked. The word entered her, not as heat, not as light, but as structure restored. The faltering rhythm beneath his palm gathered itself. The slipping thread tightened. Blood remembered its course. Wound answered limit. The reaper's cradle receded. Her spine arched with returning life. Air filled her lungs, not stolen, but reclaimed. The tremor left her limbs. Chekim did not exult. He did not soften. He simply held her until the moment stabilized, until breath came of its own accord, and the pulse beneath his hand no longer wavered between realms. Then, and only then, did he release the weight of the world from between them. Beneath his palm, the rhythm of her life hammered a sudden, defiant cadence against the silence of the tomb. He felt the moment seal, felt the will of the woman reject the dark and choose the fire. He did not handle her with the tenderness of a lover, but with the precision of an artisan restoring a fallen idol. His arm was a bar of living bronze behind her, leveraging her upward until the royal spine snapped straight, remembering the iron of its heritage. His hand lingered upon her heart, only long enough to ensure its beat was a drum of war, not a flutter of fear. She blinked, and the gray mist of the borderlands vanished. The world, brutal, vivid, and distinct, rushed back into her eyes. For the splinter of a second, the veil of their disparate worlds thinned. Her fingers moved, driven by an instinct older than her crown. They closed upon his wrist, a desperate anchor in a spinning void, a silent refusal to let the boundary depart. She sought to hold the storm. But the traveler was not a thing to be tethered. He was already arising. He withdrew not with cruelty, nor with coldness, but with the terrifying inevitability of a retreating glacier. His flesh slid from her grasp, smooth and cool, leaving her clutching only the empty air and the fading warmth of a force that had already moved on to the next horizon. He stood. Ash drifted between them like the snows of a dying winter. Across the ruin, the mountain of carrion heaved. Conan tore himself from the pale husks as a wolf tears free of winter thorns. The Unmaker rose with him, black edge steaming, hungry, absolute. His chest lifted once, then steadied. The storm inside him settled into iron. His gaze found the traveler. A grin split through blood and ash. You are late, traveler. Chekim did not grant him a full turn, only the smallest alteration at the corner of his mouth, swift, almost private.
The path was crowded.
Nothing more. Steel recognized steel. 3. For the first time. Within the golden coils, the architects stirred. They had witnessed the tearing of the veil, the passage through flesh and will. They had watched him move not as a sorcerer weaving craft, but as a verdict given motion.
What is he?
The thought rippled through ancient intellects that had known darkness before the first star.
He walks between. He does not pull the strands. He steps through the gaps. He is not of the pattern we know. What is he?
Yasmela offered no answer.
Rise with me. Then let go, 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 go. Rise with me.
Conan's grin thinned. The Unmaker rested upon his shoulder, black edge dimly steaming. His gaze passed from traveler to queen, weighing the tension between them as he would weigh a ridge before battle. The pack is whole, not inquiry, conclusion. Sekim faced the Cimmerian. No ornament marked him, no rune burned upon his flesh. He stood as he was, still as a winter peak, spare as drawn steel.
The road north is written. Thy path to the high valleys stands as it must.
He said. Conan inclined his head toward the grasscow. Aye, the hills do not forget their sons.
Then I shall find thee,
Sekkim replied.
There are thresholds yet that brook no delay.
The barbarian studied him. He saw the measured distance from the queen, saw the will held taut as a bowstring. Conan did not press it. See that they do, traveler, he said. A brief grin touched his mouth. The queen fares ill without her full guard. He turned for the horses. Ash stirred. Sekkim remained, alone, save for her. The veil parted. No violence, no tearing. Reality yielded because his will required passage. The threshold stood. He stepped toward it.
Check him.
He halted. He did not turn.
You came.
A breath, a shift in her tone.
Why?
I gave King Kashtrim, thy father, my word.
He cut her cleanly. No edge raised, only finality.
In the hall of white stone, beneath a dying sun, he placed the scrolls in my hand. He placed the burden with them.
A pause.
I swore his blood would not end in ash.
The mountain wind moved between them.
I do not stand false before an oath once spoken.
Silence pressed the stone.
When the road sinks beyond bearing, I shall come.
He stepped forward. The dark closed without seam. Gone. Her heart recognized the distance he chose. It was deliberate, measured. The ache came not of abandonment, but of boundary. Yet his words did not diminish her. They steadied her. King Kashtrim's daughter, Queen of Khauran. Her feet found the stone as if it answered her weight. She did not reach for what had departed. She stood. Cold wind moved across the stone where he had stood. She did not mount. For a long breath, she remained where the dark had closed, feeling the space he had left, feeling the absence like a drawn blade across the ribs. He had spoken of oath and blood, of King Kashtrim, of a word given beneath a dying sun. And in that severing, he had done what she herself had failed to do. He had not offered rescue. He had reminded her of her name. She had not stood at the brink because she lacked power. She had stood there because she believed she must become something other than what she was. She had leaned upon the serpents, leaned upon whispers, leaned upon borrowed hunger. That is not how a sovereign rises. The daughter of Kashtrim does not ascend by indulgence. She ascends by burden. Her feet found the snow, firm, deliberate. She turned from the place of parting and walked. Behind her, the gold uncoiled. The twin serpents slipped free in pallid, spectral form, shadows of hunger trailing her stride. They did not circle her. They followed.
You mistook indulgence for strength,
she said without turning.
You mistook my wound for permission.
The spectral tongues flickered. She did not raise her voice.
You are not my masters. You are not my counsel.
Her steps did not falter.
You are dogs at my heel.
The forms shrank.
If ever thy tongue slither without my leave, if ever thou movest without decree, I shall have the Cimmerian end thee at the edge of the Unmaker, and no fragment of thy name shall remain.
The wind carried the words. The serpents bowed their heads. She walked on. Not vessel, not penitent, daughter of Castrim, queen of Khauran. And this time, when the North waited, it did not wait for a woman in search of power. It waited for a sovereign who had remembered her blood. A true crosser of the gates does not steal a soul's burden, nor soften its trial. He shepherds it through the hurdles fate lays before it. For only through cost is a soul tempered, and only through tempering does it become what it was meant to be.